actually from the Middle East, and it had a picture of a wheelchair on it. It had Arabic beneath it, and it had a translation in English beneath that said, "Access for people of determination." That immediately made me think of Rebecca. Like anyone who's ever met my sister Rebecca, I don't see her as disabled, but rather as fiercely determined to accomplish whatever she sets her mind to. If you haven't met her, you should know that Rebecca has a rare genetic disorder called Usher syndrome type 3 that is causing her to go blind and deaf. She now has roughly 10 degrees of vision. It's like seeing the world through 2 small straws. Her attitude and her example, the example, frankly, she sets every day is not just inspiring, it is motivational. As Rebecca says, when facing a challenge, it may be harder for me, it may be tougher, it may take longer, but it's not going to stop me from achieving my goals. It's true, Rebecca is a psychotherapist, she's a motivational speaker, she's an author. The book she wrote is called Not Fade Away, a memoir of senses lost and found. She is an extreme athlete. She's also a Lululemon brand ambassador. As long as our license is being torn away, I may as well just say it. She's what we call a badass, okay? In the last 2 years, I'll have to check my work email after that. In the last 2 years, Rebecca climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and she swam from Alcatraz to shore. I take a water break halfway up the stairs when I'm putting my 2 daughters to bed. She is fearless, she is powerful, which doesn't mean that she doesn't face extraordinary challenges each day, including routinely leaving behind things simply because she didn't see them, didn't even recognize they were there, which reminds me, Beck, by the way, I brought your hair dryer. It's in the bag that I checked, so later before we leave, make sure I hand that off. But most importantly, Rebecca is the most impressive woman that I know, which is why I'm so incredibly proud tonight to present my sister Rebecca with the Disability Rights Advocates Eagle Award. Please join me in welcoming Rebecca.
Hi, can you hear me? So I just wanted to tell you a quick story with Peter here while we're both here, because this is sort of an example of what it means to be someone with a disability and try to navigate sort of the able-bodied world. I can't remember, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, but we went to a party that some friends invited us to. That's another reason. So we went to a party that a friend invited us to, and I was told there was a cute guy that was there and that I should, say hi to him, and I didn't know how to navigate it. Mind you, it was very loud and very dark. Needless to say, I couldn't see or hear. And so Peter was standing next to me, and we saw this cute guy approaching. And literally as he was approaching from my right side, Peter was on my left, and he said, "Okay, Beck, you gotta turn in 5, 4, 3, 2, hi!" And the timing was impeccable. So he's also my wingman. So, before I sort of say my remarks, I just wanted to introduce Susie Murrow. She's interpreting and now has to sign about herself, which I love, by the way. Susie Murrow and I have known each other for a long time, back from when I worked at the School for the Deaf in Brooklyn as the social worker there. She's one of my favorite deafblind interpreters, and if I wasn't holding this microphone, I would be able to sign better, but she is remarkable, and I will tell anybody who will listen, she's my favorite interpreter ever. So to have her interpreting for me today is so meaningful in so many different ways. Let me get to my remarks here. Okay, I'm going to try to read, which is going to be interesting in its own right. So, I want to thank my brother first and foremost for making the trip from DC to come here. And initially when I wrote these remarks, the joke was I wanted to thank him for taking a break from reporting the fake news and alternative facts. And unfortunately, I'm at a point where I no longer think that's funny. And as a person, living with a disability, it's not funny, especially in this country and as we are supposed to represent ourselves around the world. So, having said that, I'd also like to thank my 99 3/4-year-old grandmother, who is here visiting from California. She's going to be 100 on November 5th. And we are sharing a bed and a bathroom. So I'd like to thank my closest friends and my family for attending all of the disability-related events that I participate in, which is generally about 2 to 3 times a week. And most importantly, I want to extend a tremendous, tremendous thank you to disability rights advocates, not only for honoring me and all of the work that I do in my efforts to increase and improve awareness and visibility for people with disabilities, but also for fighting for the rights, not privileges, the rights of people with disabilities. DRA is the only organization in New York that's doing high-impact legal work on behalf of people with disabilities. Some of the changes that the DRA has made, and many people have spoken about it tonight, but include emergency planning so that people like me and other people with disabilities will have a plan in the event of a disaster. Other work that they have done is improving the accessibility of polling sites for voting so that people with disabilities have the access and ability to vote just like everybody else. I'm trying to follow this, but it's a little slow, and this feels really good to be visually impaired and know that I'm seeing this. Okay. And most recently, as many of you probably read about in the New York Times this week, the decades-long battle that the DRA has been working on to improve the sidewalks and street corners, the 162,000 street corners in New York City that are not only inaccessible, but dangerous for all people, but particularly for people with disabilities. Legal advocacy is crucial in creating change and equality for people living with disabilities. So I want to make something very clear. Having a disability is not a choice. How you treat others and what you do or don't do to help others is a choice. In my practice as a psychotherapist, I'm constantly confronted with people struggling to make a choice, to get out of a dead-end job, to end a long-term relationship, to ask for a higher pay, and my favorite, to face a fear. Living my life with a disability means that I am commonly referred to as an inspiration. If you ask any person in this room who is living with a disability how many times they have been called an inspiration, they will likely tell you that they have lost count. But I'm not an inspiration because I live a full life with both vision and hearing loss. I'm an inspiration because I live my life with constant awareness of my fear and my vulnerability. Each time I cross the street, I am afraid of what I could be missing. I'm afraid of a broken crosswalk or a speeding car. Each time I ask for help, which often means relying in good faith on a complete stranger, when I can't see or hear, I am living out my fear of not being able to manage or navigate my surroundings independently, or missing crucial information in my environment so that I do not get hurt. It is the choice of so many of my friends and family, and most often complete strangers, to help me when I ask for it, that inspires me. That makes me believe that people truly do understand that having a disability is not a choice, but that helping someone with one is. I want to thank all of you for making the choice to attend the Disability Rights Advocates inaugural event in support of all of us who live our lives with a disability and want nothing else but a quality of life that we deserve. Thank you.
Rebecca Alexander, ladies and gentlemen.